All right, good afternoon, welcome. We're going to come to order. Afternoon, welcome to the July the 28th, 2015 convening of the Baltimore City Board of Municipal and Zoning Appeals. Before we get underway, a few house rules. You'll note that there are a number of microphones which are arrayed around us up here. And those microphones are all very sensitive. They're not only for the purpose of amplification, but they're also for the purpose of recording these proceedings. And for that reason, we ask that you take any conversation out the double doors to your rear, and if you have any kind of electronic device that plays any sort of audible electronic sound, anything that rings, chimes, plays a ringtone, and the like, please at a minimum turn those to a vibrate only position, as conversations and cell phones, pagers and the like disrupt not just the general conduct of the proceedings but also the recording of these proceedings. Those of you who are sitting forward of the wall can turn around and see that there are 3 video cameras which are mounted on the wall behind you, and there are 2 video cameras mounted on the wall behind us up here, and those video cameras are for the purpose of recording these proceedings for broadcast. So in addition to being generally aware of that process, any conversations in the gallery, other kinds of disruptions from electronic devices disturbs that process as well. We will be voting at the end of the day, and you're certainly more than welcome to stick around and enjoy a civics lesson if you so choose. But if you have other things to do on this July afternoon, you can call into the zoning board office in the morning and find out how we ruled. The number for the zoning board office, I'll read this off a couple of times, but the number for the zoning board office is 410-396-4301. Again, that's 410-396-4301. You will, however, need to wait until you receive the formal written outcome of your case, which should be forthcoming in about 3 to 4 weeks, before you can pull your permits. And we certainly ask that you not build in the city of Baltimore without first obtaining proper permits. If you haven't already done so, if you're here in opposition to any case today, we ask that you please sign in on the sign-in sheet, which is being held up by Mr. French. The sign-in sheet allows us to not just generally know which cases have opposition and which ones don't, but also allows us to know who needs to receive those aforementioned written notices I just talked about. So if you are here in opposition to any case, please sign in. Additionally, if your case is postponed, and we do have some postponements today, we need to know how to contact you to let you know when your case is going forward. The procedure for when the cases are called is that if you are the appellant, you'll come forward and stand to our left or your right. The opposition, if any, will stand to our right or your left. Once everyone's up here, we'll get you sworn in, and then we will begin taking testimony. We'll first start off with the appellant, who'll be given the opportunity to tell us their side of things, what is involved in the appeal, what it is that they're seeking approval for, respond to any questions from the board, introduce any evidence or testimony they would like to offer in support of their application. Once the applicant is done, we'll then turn to the opposition, if any, who'll be given the opportunity to present their side of things and produce their witnesses and evidence in support of their position. Finally, we'll return back to the appellant, who'll be given the opportunity to respond to any points brought up by the opposition, and then to give a closing statement. We will not be going back and forth, involving engaging in an exchange between the parties and unnecessarily delaying things. We will generally be calling the cases in the order in which they appear on the docket after we first dispense with some preliminary issues. First, as I had alluded to, there are a number of cases which are being postponed, and these cases will not be heard today. 2015-231, 1809 Eastern Avenue. Mr. Cadigan?
Yes, sir.
That case is being postponed, is that correct?
Yes, please.
Okay. So if you are here on that case, 2015-231, 1809 Eastern Avenue, that case has been postponed. If you can just let Mr. Tanner's office know when you're ready to go forward. We can get you back in on the docket. You may, yes. Next, we have 2015-236, 1000 South Elwood Avenue. That case is being postponed. 2015-250, 1009 Southeast Avenue. That case as well has been postponed. If you're here on either of those cases, so long as you've signed in, we will let you know when those cases will be going forward, but none of those cases will be heard today. Next, we have our consent agenda, and the consent agenda consists of cases where zoning board staff has decided that, well, has reviewed these files, and we've determined that there is sufficient information in support of these appeals. We'll call all the consent cases as a group. Once you all get up here, we'll have you sworn in, and we'll deal with each case in turn, and then you can present any supplemental information you would like to have introduced into the record at that time. 2015-212, 337 North Charles Street, Caroline Hecker. First person will line up here, and then everyone else will line up down the dais behind them. 2015-213, 6300 Erdman Avenue, Ryan Potter. 2015-222, 31 through 35 North Fulton Avenue, also Ryan Potter. 2015-234, 3617 Wilkins Avenue, Verizon Wireless, care of Alexandra Bull. And 2015-247, 417 East North Avenue, Lowell Larson. I did have 239, 235. It's 235? Yep, I guess. Okay. And 2015-235, 1829 Gulf Street, John Cole.
So 232 is in order consent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. If you can all raise your hands and be sworn, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're going to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, first case is 2015-212, 337 North Charles Street, Caroline Hecker.
Justin Williams, with the Northern Green Door.
Afternoon, Mr. Williams.
Good afternoon. Also here with William Hodge, applicant representing WRH 337 North Charles Street LLC.
Afternoon, Mr. Hodge. And Mr. Williams, we have this as an application to house 2 dwelling units and commercial use of the premises. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And Mr. French for the
Thank
Planning
you.
Department.
Martin French for the Baltimore City Planning Department. The Department of Planning recommends approval of this application. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Williams, was there anything you would like to have added to the record at this
I
time?
have in the file and 2 exhibits that support our application, as well as a letter from the Downtown Partnership in support of the application.
Okay.
You just gave it.
No, this is for you. Anything further, Mr. Williams?
No.
All right. Zoning board staff, having previously reviewed the application, determined that there's sufficient information to approve your appeal. Thanks. Good luck. 2015-213, 6300 Erdman Avenue, Ryan Potter.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Ryan Potter, on behalf of the applicant.
Afternoon, Mr. Potter. We have this as an application to subdivide the existing lot into 2 lots and continue to use both as warehouses with accessory offices. Is that correct? Okay. And Mr. French, anything for the planning board?
Planning Department recommends approval of this application. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Potter, anything further you would like to have added to the record at this time? All right. Zoning board staff, having previously reviewed your application, determined that there is sufficient information to approve your appeal. Next, you've got 2015-212, 31 through 35 North Fulton Avenue, correct?
Yes, Ryan Potter on behalf of Municipal Health System.
And Mr. Potter, we have this as an application to use a portion of the premises as an ambulatory care health clinic. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. And Mr. French, anything for the planning board?
Planning Department recommends approval of this application. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Potter, anything further you'd like to have added to the record this time?
Not at this time.
All right. Zoning board staff, having previously reviewed the application, we determined that there was sufficient information to approve your appeal.
Thank you.
Thanks, good luck. Next, 2015-234, 3617 Wilkin Avenue, Verizon Wireless, care of Alexander Bull. Afternoon. Ms. Bull, we have this as application to add 12 antennas to the existing telecommunications tower and additional equipment within the existing on-grade fenced compound. Is that correct? All right. And Mr. French for the planning department?
Thank you. Planning Department reviewed the application and recommends approval of this appeal, subject to these conditions. The antennas and related equipment will remain mounted as illustrated in the plans and elevations submitted to the Planning Department, and the applicant will adequately mitigate any adverse effect as specified in the report of the Historical and Architectural Preservation Division of the Department of Planning in accordance with that report's recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Bull, are you amenable to the conditions stated by the planning department?
Yes.
All right. And is there anything you would like to offer at this time? No. Okay. Zoning board staff, having previously reviewed your application, we determined that there's sufficient information to approve your appeal.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. 2015-235, 1829 Gulf Street, John Cole. Calling again, 2015-235, 1829 Gulf Street, John Cole. Okay. Next, 2015-247, 417 East North Avenue, Lowell Larson.
Yes, sir.
Afternoon, sir. Mr. Larson, we have this as an application to construct a first-floor rear deck with parking pad beneath. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Mr. French, anything for the planning department?
The Planning Department has no comment on this application. Thank you.
Thanks. And Mr. Larson, was there anything further you would like to add to supplement the record at this time?
I do have a letter of support from the Community Association in the event that you have not received one.
We do?
We did receive that.
Okay.
Okay. I have
Anything else?
nothing further to add at this time.
All right. Zoning board staff, having previously reviewed the application, we determined that there is sufficient information to approve your appeal.
Thank you.
Good luck. Okay. Next, we will deal with the remainder of our docket, which will include cases where opposition is signed in. And frequently, we found that opposition is the result of either a lack of communication or miscommunication between the parties, and can be useful to offer the parties an opportunity to have a dialogue, to discuss what is actually being proposed, and for the parties to see if a agreement can be reached. Obviously, if two opposing parties approach the board with differences between them and ask the board to resolve the dispute, someone is going to go away disappointed. And having a dialogue and trying to achieve a resolution between the parties is a preferable alternative to that unhappy fate. I'm going to read off the cases where opposition is signed in. I'll just ask you to stand where you are. We'll ask if there's been any dialogue between the parties, and we'll offer the parties an opportunity to have a dialogue. You're certainly not forced to accept that offer, but we certainly do recommend and encourage it. 2015-233, 1821 through 31 West Lafayette Avenue, Mohammed Safiq. Okay, and who's here on that case? Yes. Okay. And have you folks had an opportunity to talk? Okay. Would you like to have an opportunity to speak? Yes? Okay. You all don't have to go, but, or you all can go, either way. But once you're ready to proceed, just come back in and let us know that you're ready to go forward. Okay, so what I was saying, folks, is that the applicant says that they would like to have a discussion. So if someone wants to go and talk with them, see if you can get something worked out, then we encourage you to go ahead and do that. The case isn't going to be heard at this moment. And there you go. Sure. Just let us know when you're ready to go forward, and we'll call you in turn. What's the next one? Opposition. Next case with opposition, which is signed in, is 2015-257. Folks, if you can keep your voices down. Thank you. 2015-257, 2728 Washington Boulevard, Rashad Harrison. Okay. And have you folks had an opportunity to speak? Oh. You haven't? Would you like to have a dialogue? Okay, just let us know when you're ready to go forward. Sure. Okay, first case is 2015-229, 3723 Bell Avenue, Trish Cash. Go for it. Okay. All right, Ms. Cash, we have this as an application to store 2 car trailers, a mobile home, and boat with trailer in the rear yard. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, if you can raise your hand and be sworn, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, do we have staff reports?
Yes, first we have a letter from the resident at 3729 Bell Avenue. They write, "I live 3 doors from 3723. I support the zoning of trailers, mobile homes, cars parked in the rear yard for 14 years. He has had trailers and cars parked and has never been a problem or obstructed my home or homes in the area. Many of the homes have garages. This home does not have a garage. The problem in this area is not what we use our yards for, but the vegetation and weeds and trees that have grown through the alleys. Thank you for your time and support." Does planning have a report?
Thank you. Planning Department reviewed this application, noted that the property is of sufficient size to provide for the use proposed by the applicant, and recommends approval of this appeal, subject to compliance with the requirements of Section 14-306 of the zoning code. Thank you.
Okay. All right, and just so that we can be clear on what those are. So these are the conditions that the planning department is looking for you to comply with. 14-306 the code says for parking or storage of boats, boat trailers, travel trailers, recreational vehicles, or similar camping equipment, the board must find and require as conditions of approval that, 1, at no time will this equipment be used for living or housekeeping purposes. 2, the equipment will not have fixed connections to electricity, water, gas, or sanitary sewer facilities. 3, except only as specified in subsection B of this section, which we can get to in a minute. If the equipment is parked or stored outside of a garage, it will be parked or stored to the rear of the front building line of the lot and located at least 3 feet from the side and rear lot lines. 4, the equipment will be kept in good repair and carry a current year's license and registration. And 5, the parking or storage is not of an unoccupied mobile home, being a movable or portable dwelling constructed to be towed on its own chassis and connected to utilities and designed without a permanent foundation for year-round living, which is specifically prohibited. Okay? And then that subsection B that I was talking about earlier says, notwithstanding subsection A3 of the section, the equipment may be parked anywhere on the premises for a period of not more than 48 hours for loading or unloading purposes. Okay. All right. And you're able to comply with all of those things?
Yes.
Okay. The one question I had was, This is the aerial photograph we have.
Yes.
Okay. And in that picture, I can see the mobile homes, I mean, the RVs in the back. Now, are you able to park all of those on your own property?
Yes, I have pictures,
Okay.
if you want. Yes, I am able to. I don't know which ones you want to see, but like this is the gravel that my husband put down in order to park it. This is with them not there. Okay. And this is a picture of them there. And, yeah, so, I was trying to find. So this is the back of this front view of my house. So
This is the side?
yeah, that's the front. So if you're standing in front of my
Okay.
house to the left.
Okay, so
that-
this is from the front looking down the
Yes,
side.
that's looking down, and so is, I'm sorry,
That's
and so is this one.
okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, and so is this one as well. There's a tree between my property and my neighbor's property.
Mhm.
So the motorhome, my husband normally parks it backwards, so it's in completely other yard.
Oh, he parks it sort of parallel to the
Parallel,
lot? not
yeah.
perpendicular? Okay.
He just did it that way so he can get it all in to show pictures of how.
Okay.
But it's just really hard to get it in there backwards because there's a whole bunch of trees on both sides of the alley that we've tried to get them to come cut down, and we've cut them down a few times before. So trying to maneuver between the trees is really hard.
Okay. Okay, because one of the conditions will have to be that the vehicles will have to be parked at least 3 feet from the rear lot line and 3 feet from the side lot line. So he'll have to park them, I see in the picture that they're parked perpendicular
Gotcha.
to the lot. But what you're saying is that he will typically park them parallel with the lot. So he'll have to do that in order so that they'll fit.
So my question is, the trailer
Mm-hmm.
has to be parallel as well? I mean, or just the
The-
motorhome?
Well, it's however you're gonna do it so
You go
that
from 3 feet,
everything
right?
is 3
Gotcha.
feet from the side and 3 feet from the back.
Okay.
Okay, so long as you can do that, as well as the other conditions that we went through, you should be fine. You're able to do that?
Yep, I'm able to do.
Okay. Any questions?
No?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. 2015-232, 1621 West Baltimore Street, Luther Bryant. Afternoon, sir. We have this as an application to house 2 dwelling units on the 2nd and 3rd floors and use the 1st floor for commercial use. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Okay. If you can raise your hand and be sworn, please, sir. Oh,
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Do we have staff reports?
I have no stuff.
Okay. Planning Department reviewed this application, noted that this request is to have 2 dwelling units in a B3 zoning district, in which 1,100 square feet of lot area per dwelling unit is required. Therefore, for 2 dwelling units, 2,200 square feet is required. The lot only encloses 1,312 and a half square feet, which does not meet that requirement. The amount of lot area variance that would be required would be 40%, which exceeds the maximum discretionary authority given to the board in the zoning code of 25%. and therefore, on that basis, the department recommends disapproval of this appeal. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think I see where the difference is
Okay.
in our calculation versus planning calculation. In residential districts, when you calculate going from 1 to 2, there's no provision that allows for fractions of the lot size for one of the units. But in the business district, there's no such prohibition. So when we calculated the requirement for 2, it's based on 1.5 total of the lot area. So it accounts for fractions of the lot area. If it's more than 50% for one of the units, you get credit for the whole unit. And then you take the variance from that, 25% reduction. So that's how we've traditionally done that in the business districts, and that's how we come up with a variance of 21.37 instead of 40. But that's how the code allows us to do that.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Friends, was there any consideration to that given by the planning department?
There was not.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Bryant? Yes, sir. You're, as I said before, you're looking to house 2 dwelling units on the 2nd and 3rd floor. You want to use the 1st floor as a commercial use within a mixed use, multiple family attached dwelling. I see that you have a couple of prior cases dating back to the 90s, one in 91 to house 2 dwelling units at the premises, and another in 1996 to house 2 dwelling units in the commercial use. That was you involved in both of those cases?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're looking to do basically the same thing again.
Correct.
What's in the house right now? What use have you been making of the property, I guess, since 1996?
I wanted to do the 2-bedroom apartment
Mm-hmm.
and 1-bedroom apartment upstairs, and then the commercial space, sidewalk, make that commercial, maybe possibly a barber shop or a mentoring classroom.
And what's there right now?
Nothing's there right now. The apartments are there.
Okay.
They're 3/4 complete, basically. It's just the commercial space that needs to be finished off.
Okay. All right. And I think your the structure takes up all of the lot, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Questions? Thank you. Sorry.
Oh, for the mic.
It would.
Thank you.
Okay, don't go far. 2015-233, 1821 through 31 West Lafayette Avenue, Mohammed Safiq.
Hi, how are you? Good afternoon. It's a good afternoon.
Which way?
I promise we won't, but.
However you guys want to do it.
That's correct. Okay, Mr. Safiq.
Yes,
We
sir.
have this as an application to use the premises as a convenience store and delicatessen, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. May all those who are giving testimony raise their hands and be sworn, please. Right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, do we have staff reports?
Yes. First, we have a letter from the Fulton Community Association, Western District Community Relations Council. They write, as representatives of the residents in Sandtown Winchester community and residents in Harlem Park, along with the current area businesses, we are writing you to express our opposition to Appeal 2017-233, 1821 West Lafayette Avenue. We strongly agree that we do not want another deli convenience store in this community. We have several small stores such as this in the community. We also feel that this would become another meeting place for unwanted persons to hang out. The corner of Monroe Street and Lafayette Avenue has already been labeled one of the crime hotspots in this area. Let me see. As residents, we are concerned about the health and safety of our residents. We feel this would increase the negative impact and stigma already placed on the community. This would create a problem to be another nuisance in the area. We have been working closely with the current business establishments in the area, trying to rid their corners of problem people. We feel that another deli convenience store would be a source and a draw for a new meeting place that would bring crime and problems to this area already stricken community. This would defeat our purpose for trying to build and reshape this community into what it once was. We would not oppose if the owner of this property decided to place a laundry, shoe shop, or a barber hair salon in its place. Does planning have a report?
Thank you. Planning Department reviewed this application, noted this property is located in the Harlem Park 2 Urban Renewal Plan area, and noted that the property is last authorized for use as a laundrette, which is a non-conforming use in this R8 residence district. The specific issue that the Planning Department has with the application relates to the Urban Renewal Plan. And very specifically, the Harlem Park 2 Urban Renewal Plan specifies in its land use plan, its land use provisions and building requirements section, quotes, current use is classified as non-conforming by zoning enforcement, shall abide by the existing regulations listed under this section. And then subsection A of that, the non-conforming use shall not be changed to any use except those permitted within the R8 district of the project area as specified above, end quote. Because the proposed use is not a use which is permitted within the R8 zoning district, the department recommends disapproval of this appeal, given that the urban renewal plan does not allow this non-conforming use as a laundrette to be changed to the proposed use in an R8 zoning district. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Safiq.
Yes, sir.
Did you understand all that the representative of the planning department just
Yes, sir.
advised? Okay. All right. So you're here on a conditional use request. One of the things that the board has to find in order to grant what you're seeking is that your proposed use isn't precluded by some other applicable law or urban renewal ordinance. As discussed, as Mr. French just advised, your proposed use, it would be prohibited by the urban renewal ordinance. So therefore, the board wouldn't have the authority to grant what you're requesting.
So, what could be done to help revise that?
Well, I guess you have a couple of options. I can't really give you advice, but what I would say that you could do is you could either reach out to your council person and see if you can have the urban renewal ordinance changed, or probably a more efficient thing to do would be to contact the planning department to find out what would be a acceptable use under the urban renewal ordinance, and follow that advice. Yes, your name, ma'am.
Joy, I'm sorry, Joy Baltimore. Yes, sir.
Can you spell that last name?
ROSS.
Okay.
The urban renewal that you're reading, is that the most updated one? Because we saw the last revised one from 2010.
As far as I know, it is. Again, based on the advice of the chairman, you might want to take the time to come and read it personally with the assistance of the community planner at the planning department.
So what you can do is postpone your case for today, reach out to the planning department, go through the permitted uses under the urban renewal ordinance with them, and then sort of figure out where things are and proceed from that point.
Yeah, because I just want to say for the record that.
Your name, ma'am?
Leela Campbell, is that, you know.
Can you spell that first name?
L-E-L-A.
Okay.
Right. So just for the record, I'm a part of nonprofit within the community, Step Forward, also vice president of Harlem Park West. So we are in support of Mr. Malik's convenience store within the community. And, you know, so, and we do have petitions as well. So when the opposition states that they represent the businesses and the associations within the community, I just wanted to put it on the record that that's not everybody. I mean, it's kind of sad that we stand here, you know, back and forth with each other when we should be coming together, because I don't see anybody knocking on the door to Harlem Park to do any development. And, you know, I'm hoping that we all can come together and, you know, discuss and come on one accord so that development can happen in Harlem Park. We talk about resource centers and things of that sort. We should be coming together and not here in opposition to somebody who wants to come and spend their money to build in Harlem Park. It doesn't make sense, so that's what I'm just hoping, and I just wanted to put it out there, so.
Well, I think that would be certainly a appropriate way to proceed, that given that we're at this juncture, and you know, if you are going to be pursuing a postponement of this case, so that you can confirm. If the matter is getting postponed, no.
Yes, we're going to postpone it.
Okay, all
Thank
right.
you.
Then in that case, as I had advised, reach out to the planning department and find out what the acceptable uses would be, and move forward from there. But what's being currently proposed isn't something which can be granted.
Right, okay. All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're not having a hearing.
There's-
Excuse me, for the record, can I, for the record, can I give you some data so that you can at least?
We're actually not on the record. There's not a,
No, I'm gonna, for the file.
if you would like, if you would like
That's
to,
what I'm saying, I have everything for you, I have
okay.
the police report for that area, which is a really hot spot. I also have, the over 350, signatures in oppose of it. Also, I have a,
By the way, you do understand that what you're here in opposition to can't go forward and can't be granted and isn't being proposed at this point.
I understand, but I just, in case I can't make it when you have the next hearing, in case I can't, I want to make sure that you guys have that, that's all.
Okay.
I just want to make sure, so in that way, at least you have that. And by the way, I'm the president of the Western District Police Council, so the letter that you received from Mr. Tanner, that was sent by our association. And we are right across the street from Harlem Park. Believe it or not, Lafayette Avenue is split, one of those streets is split.
It's the border.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you.
to say one thing. I represent the Harlem Park Community Association. She represents part of the community.
Ma'am, we're not here to
But see, you allowed
officiate.
one group to speak.
That's
That's
because.
all right. I can take it.
Okay, great. Next case.
And I'll be here again.
Good. 2015-41, 308 Albemarle Street and 307 Slummers Alley, Julie Tice. Or no? You can come up to the microphone. I promise
hello.
we don't bite. You can adjust that. All right. Okay, ma'am, your name for the record?
Jennifer Cuffley,
Can you spell that last name?
Cuffley.
Okay. And Ms. Cuffley, you're here on 308 Albemarle Street and 307 Slummers Alley?
Yes,
Okay. We had this as Julie Tice. I guess you're appearing for her?
yes,
Okay. And we have this as an application to consolidate the lots and construct a first-floor rear addition. Is that correct?
yes.
All right. First, I guess if we can get your, you can raise your right hand to be sworn, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have staff reports?
Planning Department has no comment on this application.
Okay. All right. Why don't you tell us about what's being proposed here?
What's been posted?
What's being proposed?
Oh.
Sorry.
To my understanding, what they're looking to do is just to bring the lots together. I do apologize, I don't have all of the information. Julie was called away on a family emergency.
Okay.
This property is currently two separate lots. And the portion that faces Summers Alley is a one-story garage. And what's proposed is to consolidate both lots into one and construct a rear addition in the space that's between the existing garage and the main, and connect them together as shown on the drawing.
All right, I see that.
So it's a pretty unusual site because the garage building already covers the entire first lot. And when you consolidate them together, it creates a lot coverage issue.
Gotcha.
We don't have any opposition or comments from the community association.
All right. Any questions?
No.
All right. And are you here on the other two as well? Okay. All right. Calling 2015-242, 907 Stiles Street. All right, ma'am, your name again for the record?
Jennifer Cuffley,
And Ms. Copley, we have this as an application to construct a second-floor overhanging rear addition. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay, you're still under oath. And do we have any staff reports regarding this application?
Planning Department has no comment on this application. Thank you.
Okay.
This, I guess if you don't mind, I'll tell you what
We'll take whatever information you have.
but primarily this site already covers 100% of the lot, and remodeling and creating a second floor which will project over top of the open space that you're in.
All right. Okay. Questions? All right. And lastly, 2015-243, 1310 Hubbard Street. Your name for the record, ma'am?
Jennifer Cuffley.
And Ms. Cuffley, we have this an application to construct a second-floor overhanging rear addition with second-floor rear deck and rooftop deck. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And do we have staff reports regarding this application?
Planning Department has no comment on this application. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Tanner, would you care to?
Again, this is a second floor rear addition that will project out over the rear yard, which is a parking pad currently. They can park off the alley. So it pretty much almost 100% lot coverage. There's other properties in the vicinity that project into the rear yard. I'm not sure about 100%. There's also new construction that is in the adjacent block that pretty much covers their entire lot. They have been to the board for variances for that project a few years ago. That's about all I can say.
One thing I noticed from the aerial was these properties, and I can't, it certainly differs from the newer construction I can see that's adjacent to it. I'm not sure if the houses across the street are the same. Looks like they are not.
No,
Um,
they're older.
But the thing that I can see from this row of houses is that it looks like there's a front lawn for this row of houses that is different from, as I said, looking across the street. Looks like those are all just flush up against the sidewalk with no front lawn. And it looks like that pushes the front of the house back. Okay. All right, anything further? All right, thank you. Thank you. All right. 2015-248, 1900 Walbrook Avenue, Wesley West. Afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
And you're Mr. West?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. West, we have this as an application to use the premises as a church, as church outreach offices. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you raise your hand and be sworn, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Do we have staff reports?
One from planning.
Thank you. Planning Department reviewed this application as it was originally filed, which was for a church with accessory church offices, noting that this is in an R7 zoning district and that there would be variances of lot area and off-street parking requirements needed for approval. In the R7 district, the use as a church would require 10,000 square feet of lot area. And because this lot only encloses 1,365 square feet, therefore not meeting the requirement, the amount of variance that would be required would exceed the 50% variance discretion provided to the board in the zoning code. And therefore, the department, on that technical reason, recommended disapproval. In addition, the application originally seen by the planning department did not contain a specification of the number of seats that would be within the proposed church. And therefore, the department was unable to comment on any amount of parking variance that might be required. In view of the fact that the application has been revised or amended to be strictly for church outreach offices rather than for a church, the department would await additional testimony from the applicant, basically, in order to reach a conclusion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. West, why don't you tell us what's being proposed?
Yes, sir. May I first present my folders?
Thank you.
First of all, again, for the record, my name is Wesley West. I'm the Reverend and founding pastor of Faith and Power Ministries of Baltimore City. I have with me some parishioners from the congregation here with me. In the file, you'll find, first of all, the letter of recommendation from Councilman Nick Mosby from District 7, who I've spoken with, sorry about that, several times before, who has participated with me. And you can read the letter for yourself. I've given copies. We have from the Fulton Heights Community Association, we have a copy of a letter from Reverend Keith Bailey, who is the president of Fulton Heights Community Association. We also have a letter, which is the main important here, is from Joseph H. Brown Jr. Funeral Home, which is a letter of parking availability for the parishioners. Also, to mention, I have these parishioners here today who after discussing with the community association and the rest of the community members who have also, you'll find in there, over 117 signed petitions that they are in agreement with us being there as well. And we have spoken with them. We don't have a problem with walking approximately 90 seconds from Joseph H. Brown Jr. Funeral Home to Faith and Power Ministries Church. Also, you can see the pictures of the location on the packet to your left. You'll see all pictures of everything being up to date, remodeled from the bathroom areas and the seating as well. I have attended, along with some other parishioners of the church, the community association's meetings. I have been in the community before. I want to make mention, before coming into the community, I've been in the community. I've been part of the Freddie Gray, of the unrest, of the Freddie Gray unrest in Baltimore City. I've been a part of that to keep the peace in that area as well. I have given back to the community several times, and they do see the need of us being there in the community. Thank you.
And what kind of outreach services will you be conducting from your location?
There are worship services, just worship service, and the office. The reason for the office is for my own personal studies, my own way away from the congregation, where I can go and study and prepare, for the lessons, and that'll be taught to the parishioners, and it's just worship and prayer service.
Okay. So
no pantries or things like that. We know we would have to come back to you all. None of that. We just want worship, strictly worship services in the office space.
Okay. And from the photos, it looks like the property was recently renovated.
Yes, sir.
And was that done through the church, or
Well, we have Ms. Kim here. She's here from that team, that group that did all the permits and everything, the work.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to know if that was work that your organization did, or was this space that you found? And
We along work with them, so it's been we along work with them.
With who?
Kim and the property group. So.
Okay, so the property owner is different from the church then?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I did see some musical equipment that's in there. I think I saw an organ and some I think that there's drums. I think I saw an amplifier there as well. What's around the building?
Around the building, to my right, is vacant homes on the right. Across the street is supposed to be soon to come a laundry room, laundry across the street. Behind us is vacant houses, is an alleyway, vacant house. We're on the corner. Across the street, they have Maceo's, the Maceo's bar, which is right directly across the street. Towards the, if I come straight out towards the corner across the street, that's I haven't really seen much activity. I think it's something like a hair salon or something like that, but I never really seen much activity there. But we're on the corner, vacant houses are to my right, alleyway with a vacant house to the back. Nothing's across the street as of yet. The laundry room should come soon.
Okay. Is there any kind of sound dampening material or anything?
Yes,
like
sir.
that?
With that, because I walked through the whole process with the builders as well, those that reconstructed the place, and they have soundproof. Everything was soundproof and within the walls and things.
Okay, because the picture I see, it looks like you've got exposed brick on the one wall.
All right.
Is there some kind of sound dampening that I'm not seeing there, or is that?
She can.
That's probably the exterior wall, and there's nothing on the other side. The street.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm going to give you a little bit of information. as far as
Sure.
that. My name is Kimberly Kadanen, and I'm actually with the builders, the owner of the property.
Mm-hmm.
Where the equipment is located, that is on the side of Monroe Street, and it's basically, it's just the street. There's nothing that's attached to that side, so it's an open space.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the property to the right, as Mr. West had stated, it is vacant. Right behind is an alley, and the properties behind that are also vacant. Across the street is Maceo's, which is a bar, and it is a laundromat that they're preparing to open across the street. So as far as when the work was done on the inside, there is soundproofing that they have placed into the floors of the property underneath of the hardwood that they've placed in. It is exposed brick, but between and then as far as the upper floors, within the rafters, they've also placed soundproofing. So
Okay.
it should not be an issue as far as noise.
Okay. Now, the exposed brick,
Yes.
is that the street side or the building side?
That's actually the side where the street, that would be the street side, looking out. Actually, I apologize, no. That's on the side where the vacant properties are.
Okay.
On the side where the equipment is,
Yeah.
that is the wall that has the drywall.
Okay. I see what you're talking about down there. Okay. Okay. Now, I guess the concern I would have is that you've got amplification equipment. I'm guessing that there's, do you use a microphone that to speak when you're
Oh, the significant
preaching or?
Sorry, the significant part about the location is that, you know, I've been in there, the sound in there, me using my voice, I have a microphone for myself. I'm sure you hear that now.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear where we don't need the microphone. It's not such a large space where I'm going to need microphones and things like that.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not needed necessary.
Okay. In which you've got the musical equipment, and and during the services, I'm going to imagine that there's a fair amount of song. It's probably the hope that the area where the location is isn't going to stay like that. That is that the vacant house that's next door and the one that's behind are always going to be vacant and not put to a more productive use. And I'd be concerned that you're sort of setting up a conflict for whoever might eventually go into that space, or in some senses discouraging anyone from going into that space as well. How many parishioners do you typically have? I saw a lot of chairs.
Right now, they're the number there, so we're looking at a small number on a Sunday, about maybe 30 parishioners is the max, about 30. And another thing to comment, if I will, your concern, to address your concern, I'm not a hard person to compromise with. You know, our service hours, we're decent, which is pretty much afternoons, not morning hours.
Sure.
You know, Bible study, we won't be playing, you know, when we do teach Bible study, sometimes it's there, you know, just a song or two, more than anything. Nowadays, if you know the churches nowadays, they're more going less song, more word. So that's a good thing. That's my, you know, hope to do less song, more word, less concert, more preaching, teaching. So I will, like I said, to confront that issue that you have, I'm a person that compromises.
Okay.
So, and another thing, I within the community. So, a young lady that's been there for 66 years, one of the ones that signed the petition, she's been there for 66 years in that community, and she hopes for a church, you know, to be right there. You know, a lot of people when the building process was there, a lot of tears came. I'm talking about my own experiences. A lot of tears came from individuals. They said they thought the building would just go to waste, but they're excited to see it going to a much positive use. So, you know, it definitely inspired me to pursue.
Yeah, it was a pretty rundown area in that corner.
I'm seeing less trash. Like I said, Nick Mosby had given us a letter. We see less trash outside, see less hanging around, you know, more. I'm embraced by the individuals I'm looked up to in that community. So I think I really think that's a good location that can be turned around for the best.
Okay. You got drums, I saw, that were there. Willing to forego the drums, willing to forego any amplified musical equipment, any kind of amplified...
I can stop you there. Anything that causes me to move forward with the master's work, I'm willing to do. As long as I teach and you know, teach Jesus, and that anything else doesn't matter. That matters the most.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck. All right. And 2015-257, 2728 Washington Boulevard, Rashad Harrison. You folks stepped out to have a discussion earlier. Was that productive?
very productive, I
Yes,
think.
thank you for the recommendation. Yes.
And I have elected to withdraw my request based upon the conversation that we've had outside.
Okay.
If I may, I mean.
Yes, Councilman.
Thanks for the recommendation. Since we're being
Just for the
recorded-
record,
For the record, City Councilman Ed Weisinger, 10th District. I'm going to work with the applicant and his father to find a bigger, better place. I have a site plus more parking, so we all agree to, to work it out.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. 2015-257, 2728 Washington Boulevard is withdrawn. Okay, and that's the end of our 3 o'clock docket. Wow, 4 or 5 o'clock. This hasn't happened in a while. Okay. Which ones do we want to talk about? 248? Yeah. This is a tricky one. I mean, I think that the issues are obvious. I don't know, I have a problem with it, not from the standpoint of liking it, not liking it, or what have you. It's a matter of, how can we make this fit within the code? And I'm not entirely sure that we can. But I am receptive to anyone being more creative-minded than me.
What's the specifics of the language?
Sure. The church wouldn't be allowed in this location. I think that the required square footage is much larger. And and office would require less. Office would be a permitted use, but I think that it's not an office use that's being proposed. I think it's purely a church use. I get limited impact as far as, church service is going to be typically on a Sunday morning. Maybe you've got a Wednesday Bible study. Maybe you've got some other meeting time during the week as well. But, it's in this area, I can see that one or two things can or will happen. That if that other, when and if the properties around it get developed, is certainly would be the hope. I think that those efforts are going to be a bit hampered by the active church use being made of this property. And then, if someone does go in there, they go into those other properties, they're going to be miffed that there's this church that's located next to them. And I understand that that the current applicant seeking the use certainly is looking to be flexible and it seems to be a very mission-oriented church. And I think it certainly would be the hope mission-oriented churches hope to grow. So they will likely at some point need newer, other space, so they'll move out, and then someone else can, because it's already has a zoning approval to go in there, another church use could go in there. And so that may not be as flexible a situation. But
I think the only way it could go is if they switch the focus, and the primary focus would be
Sure.
And the church becomes accessories to that. And if we wrote it that way, that would go with the land, so that,
Sure.
that's basically the only way I can see how we could prove it that would protect the integrity of the zone.
And that's why I had asked you initially as far as, what sort of outreach services would be conducted from there, what kind of, mission is really being pursued, and
I'm not sure
it's
he really understood the meaning of this question.
the significance, yes.
Ask more questions to make the record.
Well, why don't we do this?
My son's coming back. Oh, so.
Yeah. Why don't we do this? Mr. West? Okay. We've got some issues with what's being proposed. One thing that I was thinking of while you were presenting your case was that it wasn't, no, you don't. That there were some portions of it that didn't really seem fully formed yet. I think that it seems as though you've got like an idea. Certainly ideas and plans of certain things, but not really well-formed ideas and plans for other things. And it might be useful to take a delay of these proceedings to try to get a better sense of some of the other things that
Well,
maybe.
Can I ask you a question? Because when I
Sure.
first applied, it was told to me that outreach and church was the same thing. First of all, we came and filed for outreach, and you notice the documents, it was changed from outreach to, because that's our mission, to outreach to people, to the people, to teach people, to transform, help people transform. That's outreach.
Sure.
I was told the process of filing the form, that it needed to be changed, it's changed twice. I don't know if you can see it in the system somehow. The first
No,
one was
don't have
filed
anything.
outreach in office, but then now they said church is kind of broad. So I'm like, I'm confused as to which one to do. They said, well, they can't give me advice on it. So I said, okay, well, we're gonna have worship services, let's say church. So that's why I was brought here. I mean,
Okay.
switched it up on the documents.
Gotcha. I think that it would probably, so that you can flesh out a little bit better what your plans are, it would probably be a good idea to seek a postponement so that you can contact Mr. Tanner's office and try to get a better sense of what kinds of things, well, so that you can better flesh out what your plans are, and then get some, a better understanding.
I have the plan. I mean, it's not that I don't have a plan, it's one mission,
I know that, but so that you can better flesh out what your plans are and present them in the best way for your proposal.
Okay.
Is that something that you would be interested
So
in?
the concern here was first, initially, the parking, is what I see in the recommendation of zoning, the planning. On my letter that I was given, it said the issue, the problem was the parking. All right. So now I presented the other things, now other issues come, that it's the sound, it might be the sound, is that what the issue is? Because if that's the issue.
No, what the issue is that what you really what you presented was a plan for a church, and a church isn't something that we can approve. And so, if you want to go forward with that plan, you can. But what I'm suggesting is that going forward with that plan probably wouldn't be successful for you. So it would be advisable for you to postpone these proceedings so that you can better craft your presentation to put it in a position so that it would be approvable. Your choice is you can proceed, or you can proceed and have us vote on it today, or you can opt to postpone it, sort of try to put things in a better position and then go forward at another time.
So let me ask you, when is the?
We meet every 2 weeks.
So maybe 2 weeks from now.
I'd be happy to talk to you about it if you want to give me a call.
And I can give you Mr. Tanner's card. There you go.
All right, so, so it's nothing, there's no nothing that you can write down to me that I can go back and sit?
If you contact Mr. Tanner's office in the morning, I think that he'd be more than willing to sit down with you and sort of work through that.
I would say it for 2 weeks. Okay.
And yeah, anyone have any others?
She seemed to understand the 3 foot. She seemed to understand the 3 foot requirement.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. All right, ready, David? 2015-212, 337 North Charles Street was by consent. 2015-213, 6300 Erdman Avenue was by consent. 2015-222, 31 through 35 North Fulton Avenue was by consent. 2015-229, 3723 Bell Avenue. I am a yes with the conditions stated by the planning department that the applicant comply with the provisions of 14306.
Yes.
2015-231, 1809 Eastern Avenue was postponed. 2015-232, 1621 West Baltimore Street. I am a yes.
Yes.
2015-233, 1821 through 31 West Lafayette Avenue. That one's postponed. 2015-234, 3617 Wilkins Avenue is by consent with planning department conditions. Calling 2015-235, 1829 Goff Street, John Cole. 2015-235, 1829 Goff Street, John Cole. Okay, that's a no-show, since it's on the consent. If you can reach out to them and find out what's going on. We won't dismiss it at this point. 2015-236, 1000 South Elwood Avenue was postponed. 2015-241, 308 Albemarle Street and 307 Slimmers Alley. I'm a yes.
Yes.
2015-242, 907 Stiles Street. I'm a yes.
Yes.
2015-243, 1310 Howard Street. I'm a yes. And David, you can put something in there about the layout of the properties, the houses, I guess, on that row being set back from the sidewalk and taking away space from the front and blah, 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 and how that's not common of the houses on the other side of the street. That way we can say that it can meet the threshold for uniqueness. That's correct. 2015-247, 417 East North Avenue was by consent. 2015-248, 1900 Walbrook Avenue is postponed. I guess I should say, or is continued. 2015-250, 1009 Southeast Avenue is postponed. 2015-257, 2728 Washington Boulevard is withdrawn. Okay. And we'll take a 10-minute break because we got a short 5 o'clock docket. Get out of here by 5:30. Don't want to jinx it.
Is that 5 o'clock? I guess part of our 5 o'clock is here?
Hmm?
Is that 5 o'clock or 7?
Caroline. You still, however, will need to wait for the formal written outcome of your case that should be forthcoming in about 3 to 4 weeks before you'll be able to pull your permits, and we certainly ask that you not build in the city of Baltimore without first obtaining proper permits. We have a couple of postponements. These cases aren't going to be going forward today. 2015-249, 4128 through 36 Park Heights Avenue. That case is being postponed until September the 8th. And 2015-252, 2 West 21st Street. That case is also being postponed. It's being postponed to September the 22nd. The two cases that we have on our docket for this evening are on a consent agenda. These are cases that the zoning board staff has reviewed these files, and the board has determined that there is sufficient information to approve these appeals. We'll call the consent cases together as a group. You'll come up once everyone's up here. We'll get you sworn in. We'll take any additional testimony that you would like to offer and have added to the record at that time. First case on the consent agenda is 2015-251, 4801 York Road, William Broadus. And the other matter on our consent agenda is 2015-255, 2 through 40 East Wells Street. It's Caroline Hecker. And you can come right there. Yep. Okay. Well, all those intending to give testimony, raise their hands and be sworn, please.
You swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. The first case that we have is 2015-251, 4801 York Road, William Broadus.
Yes, hi, hello. I'm Shannon Scott, representing Mr. Brodus.
Okay, and Ms. Scott, we have this as an application to house one dwelling unit and one efficiency unit at the premises. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Mr. French, what say you for the planning department?
Planning Department recommends approval of this application. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Scott, was there anything that you would like to add at this point to supplement the record?
No, thank you.
Okay. Zoning board staff, having previously reviewed your application, determined that there was sufficient information to approve your appeal.
Thanks.
Thanks, good luck. And next, 2015-255, 2 through 40 East Wells Street, Justin Williams. Afternoon, Mr. Williams. And Mr. Williams, we have this as an application to install 2 4-foot by 36-foot illuminated ID signs onto the southwest and west walls of the premises. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And Mr. French for the planning department.
Planning Department has no comment on this application. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Williams, was there anything that you'd like to have added to the record at this
Yes,
time?
I'm here with Scott Rauch with the applicant, Rolls CRP Building LLC, handing you a file with a letter of support from the neighborhood association, the South Boston Neighborhood Association, which states there to support the application.
Okay. Overdue. Great. For you. Or if you want, I can pass it to them. Sure. And Mr. Williams, was there anything further you'd like to add to some of the record at this time?
Nothing further.
All right. Zoning board staff, having previously reviewed your application, we determined that there was sufficient information to approve your appeal. Thanks, good luck.
Thank you.
And we're off the record. Actually, I have to go back to the office. What? Well, that's true. I guess I don't have to.